Let's get into it. What a week. On Thursday, Liz Truss resigned as British Prime Minister after only 6 weeks on the job. Truss's resignation followed her government's rapid backtracking of her disastrous economic plan that plunged the country into chaos and makes her the shortest-serving Prime Minister in British history. Some women break the glass ceiling, but a rare few go one step further and break everything. Following Liz Truss's announcement, the internet unearthed an Instagram post featuring Truss and Taylor Swift at the 2019 BAFTAs and the caption reading, "Look what you made me do. It's official, Liz Truss is gay." There's really only two possibilities right now as we live in the liminal space between recording this before we hear Midnights and it coming out after we hear Midnights, which is either Taylor Swift is going to announce some sort of a, identity thing. She's going to come out in some way. Or this whole fucking thing got out of hand and they're panicking and they don't know what to do. Half of TikTok thinks I'm gay. I'm not gay. Now everybody's going to be disappointed. She might just have to be bisexual. She might just have to do it for her career. Sitting around a table, big conference room with a bunch of publicists, and they're all like, "We crunched the numbers, Taylor. There's only one way out of this thing." A Negroni. Spagliato. With Prosecco in it. Meanwhile, back across the pond, the midterms are barreling down on us like we're tied to the track of the trolley problem, and the Republicans are asking, can we get 2 trolleys? On Sunday, Georgia Representative and part-time sleep paralysis demon Marjorie Taylor Greene lost her shit during a debate when her Democratic opponent, Marcus Flowers, correctly called her an insurrectionist, to which Greene said this.
I need a rebuttal to that. You cannot accuse me of insurrection. I was a victim of the January 6th riot just as much as any other member of Congress. That was the 3rd day I had on the job. I had nothing to do with what happened there that day, and I will not have you accuse me of that. That is wrong of you to do. You're lying about me, and you will not defame my character in that manner.
Only I can defame my character in that manner. Democrats are letting children identify as goats and eating tin cans at school. Greene added, "Why I'm so angry I could hang Mike Pence." Meanwhile, Ohio Senate candidates Tim Ryan and J.D. Vance went knives out in their second debate this week, with Ryan saying this.
You were calling Trump America's Hitler. Then you kissed his ass.
Not true.
It is true. And then you kissed his ass, and then he endorsed you.
I'm for Ohio. I don't kiss anyone's ass like him. Ohio needs an ass kicker, not an ass kisser.
Couple points. Look, we get what he's trying to say here, but it's a little bit homophobic to be so averse to ass kicking. If Ohio got a rim job every once in a while, maybe the Rust Belt would be a little less rusty. Either way, there's more that unites us and divides us. Ohioans of all political persuasions agree that something must be done to the ass. After a chaotic appearance at last week's debate, Herschel Walker was a no-show at another debate hosted by the Atlanta Press Club on Sunday and was represented on stage by an empty podium. The bad news, that podium is now polling at 48%. Polarization stinks. I'm just now getting word that the podium has been accused of threatening a lectern with a gun. The podium support has dropped to 46%. Anyway, it sort of makes sense because an empty podium represented Herschel Walker at family events as well. I knew you were going to fucking do that. I knew you wimps were going to give me an ooh. During their debate, Florida Senate candidate Val Demings went toe-to-toe with incumbent Marco Rubio over abortion, telling Rubio this.
Now, as a police detective who investigated cases of rape and incest, no, Senator, I don't think it's okay for a 10-year-old girl to be raped and have to carry the seed of her rapist. No, I don't think it's okay for you to make decisions for women and girls.
Was she a homicide detective? Because she absolutely murdered him. Demings even went so far to make a shocking admission. She once respected Marco Rubio.
I know the senator, look, and I'm really disappointed in you, Marco Rubio, because I think there was a time when you did not lie in order to win. I don't know what happened to you.
She's not mad. She's just disappointed. But that, in a lot of ways, feels worse for Marco, you know? Anyway, I know she was a detective, but I think we can crack the case. He was always terrible. In a newly unearthed 2009 interview with Jimmy Kimmel, GOP presidential Senate candidate Dr. Oz had this to say about drinking his own urine.
How do you know how it tastes? Who's tasting it and going?
You gotta do it in med school. That's what you do.
You do?
Actually, you look in that stuff. You do your own urine.
No.
Are you kidding me? Where have you been?
You have, really?
Of course.
It was a really weird interview, especially the part at the end where Dr. Oz said, if anyone in the audience wants to go to med school, meet him behind the Wegmans at midnight. What's that sound? Why, it's time for, Jews are trending on Twitter again. Donald Trump attacked American Jews in a Truth Social post over the weekend, warning that they must get their act together and appreciate Israel before it's too late. You can't say we control Hollywood and Broadway, but somehow don't have our act together. That's all we have together. Trump was quick to add that he couldn't be anti-Semitic since his son-in-law is that little Jew bitch Jared. Also, in a newly released video from 2021, at an event in Bedminster, Trump complained that his support amongst American Jews was much lower than among Israeli Jews and asked of the documentarian filming him, is this a good Jewish character right here? I don't think this is what Trump meant, but just to be clear, a good Jewish character is Larry David. A bad Jewish character is the Harry Potter bank goblins. Also, Elon Musk tweeted a since-deleted image of himself, Kanye, and Donald Trump joining forces as the Three Musketeers, bringing together Musk's so-called everything app X, Parler, and True Social. Anyway, Trump, Kanye, and Elon, truly the nightmare blunt rotation. This, of course, came after a series of anti-Semitic rants by Kanye across multiple interviews in his press tour for... what? His press tour for anti-Semitism. A GOP candidate running for college district board in Arizona was arrested after police allegedly caught him masturbating in his truck near a preschool. I'm sorry, Kaufman said, according to the report. I fucked up. I'm really stressed. This is part of the Republican plan to prevent perverts from entering our schools because the only way to stop a bad guy masturbating outside of a preschool is a good guy masturbating outside of a preschool. In documentary footage aired by CNN, Nancy Pelosi learned on January 6th that the Secret Service had dissuaded then-President Trump from coming to the Capitol and said she hoped he changed his mind.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my moment. I would pay to see that. I've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out, and I'm going to go to jail, and I'm going to be happy.
Behind the scenes, Nancy Pelosi is the best Nancy Pelosi. Also taken on January 6th, this clip.
I just got off with the vice president.
And I got off with the vice president-elect. So I'll tell her.
Okay. But
I love that clip so much. She's really trying to figure out what to do, so she's calling Mike Pence, and then Schumer's like, well, I just got off the phone with Kamala Harris. And she's like, okay. Chuck, she's currently nothing. We're looking for people in the government. What are you talking about? It was amazing. It's an amazing moment. Like, all right, did you talk to Tom Hanks? What are you fucking doing? And just think about how many times Nancy Pelosi in her life has just been in a situation like that where she's trying to deal with something, get something going, and somebody's like, I talked to this person, I'm a big fucking guy. And she's like, okay. Speaking of the insurrection, the Justice Department has asked that Steve Bannon be sentenced to 6 months in prison and a $200,000 fine for defying a subpoena from the House January 6th committee. But I can't find him, said Steve Bannon, pitching up his voice in an unconvincing wig and dress, pretending to be his own wife, Stephanie Bannon, who then went into an oddly specific description of how hard it is to be married to Steve Bannon. Weird. In lighter news, significant radioactive contamination has been found at a Missouri elementary school where nuclear weapons were produced during World War II. Look on the bright side of this terrible story. Every day is a snow day when it's nuclear winter. Yes. That's correct. New York City officials unveiled a new plan for trash collection to battle the city's rat problem in a press conference where they said stuff like this.
The rats are absolutely going to hate this announcement. But the rats don't run this city. We do.
This is not Ratatouille. Rats are not our friends.
When reached for comment, a rat said, "Look down, I just ran over your foot." Anyway, that last statement was somewhat undermined when the city official's hat flew off to reveal a rat tugging her hair to and fro, controlling her every move. A man who works at an organization that helps preserve Japan's cultural relics accidentally backed his car into the country's oldest toilet at a centuries-old temple in Kyoto. "Oh no, I wrecked that toilet," said this Japanese preservationist. And 5,000 miles away, a Jewish person who works at Crooked and ordered an oat milk latte, but realized halfway through it was dairy in an unrelated incident. Names redacted to protect the innocent. Imagine taking a dump so ruinous, so awful, that all you can do to save yourself from humiliation is get in your car and back over the toilet. I don't believe this was an accident for a fucking second. Meanwhile, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has announced a new podcast. It's going to be called Pod Save Me from This Horny Former Governor. A Massachusetts woman allegedly unleashed a swarm of bees on a team of deputies who were enforcing an eviction notice. One of the cops managed to grab this picture as she tried to open up a big old box of bees. It's amazing. I love it. She's like, "Oh no, she's releasing bees." This is from the news report. After unleashing bees from hives in the back of her truck, the woman somehow donned a beekeeper suit and carried a tower of bees to the front door of the home where she tried to further agitate the bees. You can't shoot bees, can ya? Hey, do you want to see the face a person makes after being arrested despite unleashing a storm of bees to sting people trying to evict her? This is what... Look, for those listening at home, I have never seen such a smug and satisfied mugshot in my entire life. No face. I mean, look at the pathos. Look at that face. That face says, "I released a fuckload of bees on those people." Keith McNally, the owner of the popular New York restaurant Balthazar, briefly banned James Corden this week, calling him a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man. McNally also previously posted a loving picture of Woody Allen dining at Balthazar, which means in the moral universe of Keith McNally, it is better to marry your son's sister than angrily send back eggs. Corden was unbanned a few hours later after he called McNally and apologized profusely. I can't decide what's more embarrassing, getting banned from Balthazar or groveling to get back into Balthazar, and I say that as someone who's done both. Also, one of the Try Guy wives, again, a set of phrases I don't know who those, I caught up with all of you, but apparently she saw James Corden yelling at a busboy outside Little Dom's, a restaurant in Los Feliz, because they weren't open yet. And he's like, "We'll get you a table at 5 when they open." He's like, "A lot of good that'll do." And it's like, what's going on? James, you're too rich for this. Any story of James Corden now just being a dick to random people, I just like get it into my For You page. I just send it to me. I love it. I eat it all up. He did an interview that came out today with Dave Itzkoff at the New York Times, where apparently he seemed unprepared for the fact that this was going to come up. It's a doozy, and he does not handle it well. I highly recommend reading it. Scientists have discovered, based on DNA samples of bone and tooth fragments, that families of Neanderthals lived in small, tight-knit communities of 10 to 20 individuals, and when a female found a mate, they would migrate to join the male's family. Of course, migrating to join her mate's family could present problems, especially if they were wacky. For more information on how this might have gone down, be sure to check out the new CBS sitcom, Everybody Loves Oog! I didn't know how Oog was going to go. I didn't know. Authorities in Miller's Place, New York, have charged a woman with cruel confinement after rescuing over 300 birds, rabbits, cats, and other animals from her home. But Noah does it, and he gets to be in a Darren Aronofsky movie. Grow up, people! 4 astronauts returned to Earth after nearly a half a year in space. Unfortunately, having only been back on Earth for a couple of weeks, cosmonaut Oleg Artemyev accidentally hit a colleague with his car. But it could have been worse. He could have hit a very old toilet.